Hi everyone, I am Sandeep Jain and welcome to another video. Do you know Shravan and Sanjay? They found a company Go Dimension at the age of 8 and 10. Malala Yousafzai won Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17. Greta Thunberg started climate activism at the age of 15. So does age really matter? Should we compare ourselves with the young kids who are achieving so much? Today, young professionals, young students, they're achieving so much compared to the seasonal professionals. Is it right to compare ourselves with the students or the young professionals, young kids who are achieving so much? I remember when I was in school, my parents' focus and my focus was completely on academics, and internet was just a term. And today, when I talk to my daughter, I encourage her to drop out of the school, join our office, and work at the office. And she has this choice. Today, we have Ayush Singh with us, who has co founded two companies, running a YouTube channel, and he does a lot of other stuff at the age of 16. Hi, Ayush. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Last time we met, you were school ambassador, and we did a podcast with you. And once the podcast was over, I was so impressed. And I shared that podcast video with everybody in my family, all the kids in my family, and told them to take inspiration from it. And now we are meeting after 3 years, and you achieved so much in those 3 years, and good to see you back.
Thank you
So,
so much, Sandeep. And first of all, it's truly mesmerizing for me because in starting of my career, I was going through Geeks for Geeks articles and stuff, and now we are literally meeting the founder of Geeks for Geeks. It's truly, I'm proud of myself at this particular point. But thank you so much again for inviting me, and hope to see the next.
so how does it feel now? I mean, achieving too many things at this early age.
I mean, it's not too many things. Yes, I do have a couple of companies doing great in their own space, but to be honest, it feels at some point, okay, I've achieved X thing, but at the same time, I think it's kind of a philosophy too. If you achieve X thing, then your satisfaction is not yet there. You have to achieve a little bit more. You have to achieve a little bit more because still, if I'm this particular point, I still have to think twice for some certain things. So it's pretty good, but as you say, satisfactory thing is not coming yet.
Oh man. So, for the audience, Ayush is running a successful YouTube channel. He has co-founded two companies, and he was school ambassador when he was 13. And I mean, he still says, "I've not achieved so much," and not satisfactory. So, I saw your videos, and somewhere you mentioned that you did intern at a company where you were doing sales and marketing job. So, how was that experience?
So my first company was Artifact, where I was working as a data scientist. So basically, my transition of the career was that I was in data science role, and then afterwards I came into the ML ops engineering role, and then post that I leaded a team of data scientists. So it was a good set of moments for me at least, but. I truly find myself a true, ikigai, which we mentioned, while doing actual, building businesses and making their revenue up and seeing that, okay, somebody buying the product which you have built, and it truly feels great. But at the same time, the experience is one is the pro side where you get a lot of money and probably enjoy building the products and stuff. But on another side, you have the pressure from the investors, you have the pressure from probably the customers because they have literally paid you, and you have to actually provide them value. And I think those two pressures, constant pressures, makes this pros thing better. So in terms of experience, it is pretty good. As I say, probably I like doing business and probably, boosting up the revenues of the company. I like it much more better than as a data scientist or ML ops engineering. But yeah, I think in short, I'll tell that.
All right. So tell us more about Second Brain Labs. Like, what do you do there? What does your company do, and how are things going in that company?
Okay, so I'll tell a simple example of taking Geeks for Geeks. So let's assume that Geeks for Geeks is a second Brain Labs client. What exactly will help you? Will help you to increase the sales of your company if there is any need of student asking a lot of questions. You need to deploy a lot of live guys, like support guys, to answer their queries, or probably you want to take how students are responding to my courses. We help you to automate all of these operations, which is sales, survey, and support, by using our AI and our in-source prescription tools. So in short, we help you to increase your sales, we help you to optimize your support team, and we help you to give better insights about the students.
And you have been teaching on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
So I saw your videos, and uh, I mean, how do you help students, and what kind of students, what kind of problems they come up with, and like how do you resolve them?
See, that's a very interesting question. I think one thing which I noticed, I actually teach in the space of machine learning and core machine learning, and only I target that area because I have an expertise in that. So I think it's more about, lot of students are learning about data science, machine learning. What exactly they're missing is 99% of the people are doing what things are taught on YouTube or probably on some internet sources. And those 99% people are going and applying for the job and they're getting rejected instantly. And only the guys who hold the high sort of degrees are getting into it. So I focus on core machine learning. I actually help them teach what is not being taught on YouTube or other platforms. Instead, I focus on core machine learning and the latest trends and technologies, such as MLOps is one of them, which I am entirely focusing on right now because it can make someone zero to hero in no time in machine learning. So I help teach core machine learning, MLOps stuff. That's it as of now.
And what kind of problems they ask you? Like when they come to, you must be getting a lot of
Yeah.
messages,
Yeah.
and people consume a lot of content which you produce on YouTube. So you must like what kind of problems they ask, and how do you tackle them?
See, problems differs a lot. I think 99% of the problem comes to the point where they say, I'm not able to get a job in machine learning. I think
Right.
that's what connected all of these roots. So that's one point because they say that my resumes are not being shortlisted. I'm not even getting to an interview level because most of the resumes are the same. They're still working on a simple problem. They're still working on the problem which is told by YouTube guys, and they're working on it, and they're not getting into it. So one of the problem which I so-called seen is first, of course, that I'm not able to get a job, or probably I'm not able to get even shortlisted for an interview. And third problem which I usually see that they want everything in a short time and as soon as possible without putting extra effort. And then they'd come and tell, hey, Ayush, I'm not able to get a job, or probably data science is so saturated as of now. A hell lot of problems which I think can be easily solvable if applied the right night.
I think you rightly mentioned every success takes a lot of time, and that's where
Correct.
people miss out. People
Correct.
just
Correct.
want they just want a short route to get a job.
Correct.
Their target is to get a job, not the learning side.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so in one of your videos, you mentioned that even if you're doing projects which were matching the standards of what bachelor's and master's students do, you were facing rejections. So tell us more about it and how do you tackle the rejections?
Uh, that's interesting. So I'll tell you that, of course, PhD guys, masters guys are making some set of projects, and I am getting rejected with the same project. I'll tell you very simply. There's a guy who's sitting in a class 10th, and there's a guy who has a PhD or master's degree. If he develops X project, I develop X project, who's going to be selected? And if the X projects are same, that guy is going to be selected because he has an extra factor, which is the degree out there. Or probably he's bigger than me in terms of age, or probably he has a better degrees than me. So I think that's one of the key reason is he's getting selected. Now the situation comes that even he's not getting selected, even with the project which I have, which means there's another shark which is sitting at the top, which is better than both of us. And that shark is probably doing something unique. I think that is getting him selected in the job. So I think the main point to mention is every project should have some differentiator. Otherwise, it does not make sense. When I was working at Second Brain and we waited for 6 months, and then we went to investor and we were brutally rejected by I think 10 or 15 of investors until and unless we got our first round. So every guy used to ask third question or fourth question, tell me your differentiator, why you're different than these XX companies out there. And I think if in business or if any point everyone asks what is the differentiator, then I'll give you the money. I think the same applies to the job. You need to have some differentiator into the project which differentiates you from 99% of the people. Then easily you're going to get selected or surpass any people. So that's my ideology, is being a little bit differentiated over the time.
All right, so I mean, after facing rejections, you realized it, or yeah, it was like,
I think yes, after facing rejections.
okay,
So there was my first interview, and that interview, I'm not going to take his name, but he asked us some set of questions, and actually I did a a simple machine learning course. And I told him, hey, I actually did a course, and whatever you are mentioning was not even in there. So what I'm missing out? So after a certain point, I realized that yeah, I think it has to be something different or applied little bit more effort. So after facing, I think 3 to 4 rejections, I got it.
So you mentioned about sales, marketing, teaching, YouTube. Now you're talking about business, funding. What else you do, man? I mean, and how big is the team in Second Brain?
Yeah, it's around 12 people team with around 8 people as a core who are working as a full time, and rest are interns and contractuals.
All right. So, how do you see money? I mean, you're talking about investment, you're talking about building businesses. So, how do you see it?
Nice. So I think I'll tell you very honestly, I draw a very low salary from Second Brain Labs. We got a good investment from Infosys leaders and Microsoft leaders, but I personally draw a very small salary because I believe that I'll draw it after some point when the Second Brain is something, at pre-seed round, I don't want to get into this thing. But eventually I make things from my, I mean, different sources of incomes. Like I have Anton, which sells machine learning courses. So from there I'm able to get a certain amount of revenue, and still, a lot of people are coming in and giving me acquisition offers. Hey, take $150,000, take me your whole course. I say no, fair enough, I will keep my thing with me and eventually go ahead. So definitely at this particular point, I believe that money is a very, very important factor to me because I'm only a sole earner in the family. And I feel that money should come from a different sources. I have several sources of income, and from there I drive a good, I mean, average set of money or income for me, and see that and probably invest that into real estate. I'm a big fan of real estate, and I invest that into real estate and stuff.
Okay, so real estate. So where you invested in the real estate?
See, I am a big fan of the land and flats. So I've been doing this in Patna. So, and also some, I mean, there's a rights thing out there. So, but eventually now I'm trying to see in Bangalore independent houses and probably convert that to uh, renting purpose or something. So it's on the process. My father was a stock market trader, so that's why I inherited his in bloodline, of course, the stock market and stuff. So definitely, I believe that in Patna, I'm mostly lands and flats, but most probably in upcoming era, you will see me in Bangalore, probably having some real estate because my investor, Subramaniam Goparaju, he's a big fan of real estate and he has accumulated wealth. One day I was talking to him and he literally, I was telling that, I asked him, do you have a flat in Hiranandani? His response was, I have a flat in every apartment which you mentioned. I was like, what the hell? That's something very interesting. And if that guy is thinking that thing, then of course I also think that, okay, fair enough. It appreciates, it's never depreciates. So that's why I love it.
And how do you manage time? You talking about real estate, two companies you talked about. So you distribute your whole day in different things, or you do work upon one thing for some days and then you do a different thing.
I think I'll tell you very honestly, I work around 4 to 5 hours a day, even less than that sometimes. Sometimes I don't even work. I think it's more about I delegated my work. For example, Anton thing is delegated under a set of folks, and those folks manage the whole Anton thing because I have created the course and I just need to require around 2 to 3 hours per week to put into that course and make it better. So one thing which I personally follow is delegating the work, which probably I think can be delegated. Of course, your strategy sessions, your road mapping cannot be delegated. Only thing which can be delegated is how you're going to execute this, and you have to tell this guy, okay, you have to execute this, and then probably you'll get to a certain point. So first power, I think, is delegation. I think you're also the founder. You know delegation power, and you just delegate the.
That has to be there, otherwise how you
Correct.
can't do everything your own on your own, right? So you need to
Exactly.
delegate.
So delegation is something which I mentioned. For example, YouTube videos. What really happens that I just give the talking points. I have a recording on, and then I record the audios of the topic. I give to my script writing team. They script it for me, and then everything is set up. And then I have to just go and then probably record the 4 videos at one time, and then 1 month thing is done for that. So this is how I work in most of the cases.
All right, so one curiosity that I have, the audience must also be having is at what age you started working professionally? And I mean, by some age you must be going to a regular school. You must have realized something that you need to drop the regular school thing and get involved and do more other things. So how did you decide? How did you decide? And at what age you decided this?
I'll tell, I think around when I was around 12 years old, I was actually entering class 8. At that particular time, I actually started this. Reason is, I think, probably known to the people, is my father was, as I told, was in stock market, and COVID came and this downfall came eventually in the, like, he was in future options. So he faced a huge loss in there, and then we were at a particular point we were not financially stable. I could not wait till college to eventually uplift my family in something. So I wanted, yeah, I need to do things ASAP and in a legitimate way. I can't just go and do an illegitimate thing. So I just want to focus on things which is bit legit. And I'm a true believer in also known as being a hard worker initially. Then you can whatever, but initially being a very hard worker. So I believed, okay, I need to find something which will be achieved via hard way, and secondly is legit way, and that's where I found coding and programming is one of them, where I can kickstart my career and then probably choose whatever needs to be passion.
I think similar thing happened with me when I was, I just resigned from my software job and came to
Okay.
this teaching job. And then there was so much social pressure because I
Correct.
was going to be a father and everybody started asking questions. I was living in a lower quality flat and there was so much social pressure. I had to compete with that software salary that my friends were getting and people
Correct.
around me were getting.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I had to work harder and harder to compensate that salary, and that worked for me. So a
Yeah.
lot of times when problem arise, they work in your favor, and people
Correct.
just see and stop working. You should actually work harder, and if you
Correct.
keep on working harder, you will actually come over the problems, and you will probably do better than you were doing earlier.
Exactly. I think it compounds a lot. And initially, you don't get a huge outcomes, but I think that inputs which you mentioned is compounding, and eventually gives where you're right now.
So tell me about your social life. How is your social life like?
You're talking about social medias and stuff.
Generally, like, do you go out? Do you go for family trips? I mean, do you get time for these things?
I mean, yes, I get a huge time for this. Like, we plan something. Like, I live with my co-founders, obviously, in Bangalore. So we definitely plan on weekends or whenever we want. We have that freedom that, fair enough, if you want to go right now, we can plan a next five days trip right now. So I definitely socialize well. I don't like those, sort of that era of Bangalore known as nightlives and all. But eventually, I like that peace and prosperity. I definitely have time for that. But for families, I think right now the outcomes are coming. So I think I will take some time to settle it down and probably then plan some family trips. But I love to socialize offline because I am not too much online person. I'm very honest that I don't like to show a lot of life online, considering that one time I just feel that for example, I came to Patna, I came to Delhi. There's no conversation, I mean, post about me being here, right? But a content creator will just smash their Instagram stories with all of this.
I'm
So,
coming to this place. Anybody wants to meet me here? All right.
so I just feel that social life is for me. Online life is, oh, of course, for me because that's where your income is coming from. You just have to be a little professional in online life.
All right. So it was great meeting you, Ayush. And I think the audience, the people who are watching it, especially the young kids, they would take a lot of inspiration from it. And I think they would try to follow your path and try to follow what you're doing. But at the end, I would always say, listen to everybody else
Correct.
and see what your background is and what you can do. Don't try to exactly follow everybody, but
Correct.
try to do what you can do and what problems you want to solve passionately.
Correct. I think I'll agree with you that people just see, as you state, the outcomes and the way he has achieved and probably, going to a particular path. And I think, as you stated, that everyone should listen. I mean, individuals, whoever are online, just listen to them and probably not blindly follow anyone. And students are right now doing that kind of thing, is blindly following that thing and probably dropping it down. So definitely, and thank you so much for inviting me. It's truly, I mean, I'm very proud of myself right now to meet Sandeep Jain, the founder of Geeks for Geeks, because we started our career with scrolling those pages of Geeks for Geeks, and probably I published some of the blogs at Geeks for Geeks too, though some of the guys have rejected my blogs initially. So
Tell me about the titles. We'll look at them back again. We'll check those again.
for sure. Thank you so much, Sandeep.
Thank you.